What's up, everybody? Happy Sunday. What's on the menu tonight is arancini, which is a Sicilian deal. It's deep fried rice balls. So I would not recommend making this tonight because it's so hot. I would wait for a cooler night to do this, but this is on the menu, so what can you do? So to start, I'm making just a flash risotto. So risotto takes a good 20 to 30 minutes. So to start, I'm going to make a half a cup of rice. So I got a tablespoon of butter. I've got about half of a chopped up yellow onion, and I've got a chopped up clove of garlic here on my cutting board. So to start, couple things. You need some chicken stock for this too. And part of the deal is you got to add it gradually to the rice mixture. So get it on a separate burner and get it going at about a medium to a medium low. Because with the cooking process, you don't want to add a cold substance to the hot ingredients. So just make sure that's hot on a separate deal. That just keeps it a better consistency and it's a better finished product. So in another pot, I got a tablespoon of butter going. So I'm going to let that melt, and then I'm going to sweat my veggies down for about 5 to 7 minutes. And at that point, I'm going to add the rice, and it's just you get your wooden spoon going, and you just got to stand here and keep stirring it. And the other thing, it's optional, but a nice flavor to round it out. Once you add the rice, just as a little bit of deglaze, you can use a little bit of white wine. Brings out the flavor, and when I use the white wine in the cooking to let it all evaporate, if you're doing that, that's about 3 to 4 minutes. And then once you make the risotto, I'm actually going to add a little bit of shredded cheese in there too. And I'll come back for this. You let it cool down, and then it's easier to work with. So we're gonna make them into little balls, and we're gonna stuff them with like little cubes of mozz and maybe a little bit of ham. Then you're coating them and deep frying them. So I'm gonna add my onions now, and just let them start to get sweated. So I'll be back as I'm further along with this risotto to tell you what to do from there. Stay tuned. All right, so I'm working quick, so I got to stay by the stove. But once you get the white wine in, you pour it in, stir it, let it evaporate. So then you got the chicken stock sitting here. You don't add it all at once, I would say, in 2 or 3 batches. Just add it gradually, and just got to sit here and keep stirring it. So you keep on stirring it. So this acts in a couple ways. It adds the flavor, it helps the cooking process, and it's a continuous deglazing of your pan. So you got to just keep sitting here, stirring away. And as the stock evaporates, you add the second batch, the third batch. Just keep doing that until it reaches that nice consistency and all the liquids been incorporated into the rice mixture. So that's why you need some time and you need to keep the attention here. But when it's done, I'll be back. Alright, so this is almost done. I didn't mention I had it with me a minute ago at the end, both for flavor and to help thicken it up a little bit. When you take it off the heat, add in a little bit of grated cheese, just tighten it up a little bit. So, oh man, risotto's a pain in the butt. But this is by far the hardest part of making this. So, it's got a nice tight, but still a creamy consistency. You could do this recipe with straight up Italian white rice, but I think they can get a little bit dry. So this was a little bit ambitious to do it, the risotto, but I think at the end you have a better finished product. So I'm actually going to put this in a bowl and throw it in the fridge for about 20 minutes, just to let it tighten up a little bit more. And also because we're going to be rolled into balls with our hands, it's got to cool down. So I'll be back to do the stuffing and the breading and the dredging. So stay tuned. All right, so we're back. So that rice has been cooling for a while, and what I'm gonna do is start to form them into balls, and then before I dredge and batter and everything, I'm gonna throw them on this piece of paper. I'm actually gonna flash them in the freezer for maybe 5 or 10 minutes just to let them set up a little bit more. So for my stuffing, I've got little cubes of mozzarella, and I got a little bit of imported ham too. I've seen people do this with like peas, with ground pork, with ground beef, but the mainstay is the mozzarella. So we're going to be working the rice into these balls. So a good tip, so the rice doesn't stick to your hands too much, get a bowl of water on the side and just wet your hands before holding the rice, and then it'll be a little bit easier to work with it. So I got this scooper that's like a quarter cup. So just a generous start. I'm going to start working the rice into like a patty. I'm going to start pressing in the middle to make a little makeshift pocket. So for each one of these, I want to get at least one, if not two, pieces of cheese in there and a little bit of ham. So just start the ball and then start to work it on top and then kind of roll it with your hands. And if you need a little bit more rice to kind of cover it up, you can do that. But just work it into a ball. Like this one, I got a little bit of ham on top, so I'm just going to get a little bit more. It's almost like doing like patchwork with concrete or something. So I want to get them formed, and that's one. So just going to do it till there's no more left. And again, I'm going to cook it in canola oil. I think that's my best for frying. Not quite as hot as I've done for some of that shrimp and seafood. Maybe about 350. So I would get it somewhere between medium and medium high, and let the oil get hot for about 10 minutes before you drop them. So what I'll do is, just as a time saver, I'll start the oil as I'm starting on my dredging, just to maximize your time. So stay tuned. We'll be back. All right, we're back. So taking these out of the freezer as we speak. So we're ready to start dredging. So get the flour into the egg and then into the breadcrumb. So I was just talking to my cousin Joseph about these, Joe Romeo, another fine Italian cook, and we both agreed these are a lot of work. I'm showing you because it's something new to do and it's something fun to do, but man, it's a lot of work. This is more for like a holiday. Well, the other thing that I said was, this is Exhibit A why restaurants exist. So when it's safe to go out, I encourage everybody to go out to the restaurant and tip well. All right. So we ended up with 4 of these. So just going to get going. Ideally, I try to do dry hand, wet hand, but whatever. I'm getting tired. It's hot. So just roll them around in the flour. Make sure you get the whole thing. Do a little shake. Then into the egg mixture. Just let that shake off, and then back to the dry hands with the breadcrumbs. And we'll just do that for each one. So I'll be back when we're dipping them in the fryer, and I also got, for a little dipping sauce, a little bit of gravy heating up. These are about 5 to 6 minutes in the fryer. So stay tuned. We'll be back. All right, so we're done here. So another thing, ideally this would be in a deeper frying container, but the best I got is the skillet. So a little bit more tricky, but not too bad. So I'm just going to put this on paper towels to drain them. And I got a little bit of gravy here and some fresh cut basil. So just going to let these rest and cool for a minute. So some of them didn't quite keep that nice round shape, but they held together pretty well. So I'm actually going to cut one so you all can see the inside. So I think this confirms what I said a minute ago. This is probably, going forward, restaurant experience for Matty H. This was very labor intensive, and maybe it's just the weather, but I don't know. So I'm going to take one here. So you can see, nice round ball, looks pretty good. So let me cut one of these for you. So we can see the inside. Just see that little, that mozz, that's what we're looking for. Just that gooey center. So there we go with our arancini. Everybody be good. Have a good week. Hopefully be back midweek with something new. See everybody.